Mr. T.K. Ramesh. Mr. T.K. Ramesh is Managing Director of Micromatic Machine Tools Private Limited, the marketing arm of the Ace Micromatic Group, coming with an engineering background and a PG in business administration. He has an experience for more than 4 decades in marketing management for machine tools and manufacturing solutions. He oversees all the activities of the company. Mr. Ramesh is also chairman of the Export Development Council and is associated with Indian Machine Tool Manufacturers Association. He is also a member of World Wildlife Federation Council. Today, Mr. T.K. Ramesh will give us brief view of manufacturing challenges and opportunities. So delegates, let's welcome Mr. T.K. Ramesh.
Good afternoon. After that very insightful presentation that we got on Industry 4.0, getting ready for Industry 5.0, I'm going to be talking about what are the opportunities, what are the challenges. Of course, Industry 3.0, Industry 4.0 are all definitely here, and we have to learn, we have to accept, we have to get ready. I thought I would talk to this gathering here today about what opportunities we could have and what we really need to do. Again, I'm not going to go into the details of this particular slide. It was very well covered in the past presentation. Ultimately, I want all of us to understand whether it's a multinational, whether it's an SME, or whether it is a vendor supply chain. Ultimately, what is it that we are doing? We are in the business of economics. We produce something, we need to distribute something, and what we produce and distribute has to be consumed. And there are two parts to anything that we do. One is a product that we manufacture. Second is services that we package along with that product that we give, and this should create value. Yes, it started with steam, electricity, mass production, and then certain amount of automation, and as was rightly said, putting this information onto the cloud. But ultimately, all of this is information only after something is produced. Now, if it was so simple, perhaps we would have grown rice and paddy from computers, or maybe we could have produced cars also from a computer. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. While information can be managed, and as absolutely correctly said, we need the right information at the right time, in the real time, to make better decisions. But the situation of employment, interest, money, which are the macro agents, and how we react and behave as a country, as a community, as an organization, is where the difference comes in, and which is where the value is really put together. From a business view perspective, we have materials, we have machinery, we have labor, capital, land, and this is what makes an enterprise. And the more they are, the bigger is the company, it becomes a multinational. The lesser it is, it becomes an MSME. But ultimately, these things are the same for both. So how was it we were creating value? In the historical perspective, we created value by one, differential in raw material. Oil is cheaper in the Middle East. Okay, cotton is cheaper in India. And this is how it was. Material made a big difference. Cost of people made a big difference. And material and capital was where a lot of the value add was happening. And then the need for data, the need for on-time, etc. was lower. Now, if you really look at what is happening today, it is the intangibles. Material costs are more or less the same across the world, give or take 5-10%. Labor costs, you have the underdeveloped countries and you have the developing countries and the developed countries where the differences are there. But because of those differences, you have automation, and perhaps they make up for the cost in the labor. So labor, raw material, and that way of looking at business perhaps no more holds good. So we'll have to look at the intangible, and it is in the intangibles that value comes out of quick decision making, cost-effective working, and this is where data plays an extremely important role. And you need not be a multinational to do this. This happens in your own backyard. Even if your enterprise is just 5 crores, if you're able to take timely decisions and if you're able to save 10% or 12%, as a percentage, the percentage is still significant for any business. So the current business way of looking at things, which is the challenge coming up, is earlier you used to hold scarce resources, then you would localize. Okay, if a car has got a certain specifications, a certain speed, a certain safety, in a particular market. In the localization, you changed it a little bit and you made it a little cheaper or expensive, or you suited product for the localization or the local markets, and this is how you created value. Now we are becoming a global world. Everybody wants and is aware of what's available across, and a lot of product specifications are becoming standards. So the new case is all about being self-sufficient, looking at new material, increasing in non-natural resources, because ultimately we are all talking about sustainability and becoming green. We cannot pollute. We know that there is only one world. We know what will happen if we do beyond a level of research. We've seen the recent examples of whether it's COVID or whatever. We have one atmosphere, we have one earth, so we really need to look at it. So the impact on manufacturing is all about a strategic role that it has to play. How do we de-risk, and then how do we innovate with emphasis on manufacturing and design? And to manufacture better and to design better, you got to understand use better. Now to do this is where data, connectivity, real-time, etc. comes into the picture. So we are aware of the war. We are aware of what happened in China. We are aware. So the issue of globalization to localization, and it's not just localization, but innovating that happens along a localization because of the differences in, let's say, diversity, the differences in looking at the same product from different markets and manufacturing and looking at different views and putting it together as a global product. That is, thinking globally but acting locally is what are the big challenges for manufacturing. Now, what does it mean from a machinery perspective? Historically, you were invested in capacity. You made large numbers, which was all mass production, then batch production. And as he rightly said, today it's about variety, it's about design, it's about one piece. Now, if this has to happen, the machines and the equipment has to be connected. And how do you connect? Again, he rightly mentioned about sensors and connectivity and all that. So from increase in productivity and reduction in dependence on skill, the future is not just engineering, but it is about being multidisciplined. You need data, you need innovation, you need engineering, you need human resources, you need training, and all of this has to be flexible and agile. While it's simple to get data and do it on machines, it is not so simple to do it on people, because people come with baggage, people come with history, people come with learnability. So how we learn, unlearn, relearn, I think is another very, very important aspect that needs to come into it. And this is where we really need to look at global standards of interconnectedness. And ultimately, what is it that an enterprise has to do? It is about looking at innovations, making the business model stronger, and we will have to look at more innovation with scarcer resources, not polluting the environment, all of which comes from a very, very close working between the customer, the manufacturer, and the user. So the capturing of human value and creating a structural relationship along with finance and a structural capital, it's about a vision of creation and understanding the importance of data, connectedness. It's not that it cannot be done. If it is done, then it's so much better, and it is so much more holistic, and it is so much more sustainable. It's not about succeeding for today or tomorrow. It's about succeeding over a period of time with a continuous change. See, industry 1.0, 2.0 will come, 5, 6, 7 will come. It's not a question of, just getting into it. It's a question of being flexible, being adaptable, and making sure what needs to be done. And finally, it is expected that Indian manufacturers is going to contribute at least about 5% to the global manufacturing output by 2025. We've got many, many initiatives that are coming up. There's a lot of electronics manufacturing that are happening. Now, many of these are not even understood by us. The earlier way of looking at things was that multinationals would come here, they would transplant a factory that was already existing. The technology would have been 2 years old or 20 years old or whatever it is. And this is a new market. And developing countries were looked at as markets. Now, those days are gone. With all that is happening, there is need for more innovative, lesser expensive, greener products. And this happens because these priorities are different in different countries. Let us not forget, friends, that all of this is for human consumption. And where are the humans? They are not in the West. They are in the East. They are in India. They are in China. We may have so much of differences of opinion, etc., etc. But manufacturing and consumption is really going to be moving, is already moving to the east. So it is from that perspective, we need to look at flexibility, and we need to be looking at a sustainable manufacturing. And these are the challenges that we need to look for in addition to automation and Industry 4.0. Thank you very much.